Hello, welcome to Cleopatra. I'm Christy Bana.
I'm Lynn Molly,
and I'm Michael. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I couldn't resist. You set me up.
I think that's how we're starting it. I think we're just going.
It's good. You know what this episode's about. You know what this podcast is. If
Israel,
you don't,
Palestine.
you'll find out. This is where we say all of the controversial things.
We have our most persnickety guest yet.
What does that even mean?
Bitting at
Don't
the
use big.
chump.
We're not using big words today. Let's just make that clear. I understand you guys are smart and have cool things to say. We'll keep it simple. 5 little words and under. That's it. Nothing else.
Les petits mots.
Persnickety.
Okay.
What is that? That means douchey, huh?
No.
What does that mean?
It means just you are chomping at the bit and you are
You're like shaking things
spitfire.
up
Y'all don't know what it
a little.
means either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Things up a little.
You're like,
I actually don't know what persnickety means.
Let's do the exact definition. To me, it's a little I want to say pernicious, but that feels
That's even worse. You're like, I want to say
Oh my
laborious.
god, actually, all of us are wrong. Persnickety means placing too much emphasis on trivial or minor details. Fussy. Persnickety means fussy.
Fussy.
Oh, I thought it was a little
It's
fly.
cute. Oh,
Yeah.
you're persnickety.
That's
Damn, you've been
thinking it was a
breaking.
synonym
You've been
for
calling
sneaky.
dudes that, and they're like, you're breaking my heart.
Sneaky.
You call your boyfriend that all the time, just killing his self-esteem.
Everyone has that one word or several words where they're like, oh, I thought it meant this. For the longest time, I thought
Yes.
lofty was aloof. So oh, it's
What?
a lofty goal. And it's no, it's actually the fucking opposite. You know what I mean? Lofty is
That's
the very
hilarious.
high. Yeah.
Yo.
I mean, Shakespeare made a whole career out of saying words however he wanted them. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, our guest today is a Louisiana comedian based in Los Angeles. He's been in things like festivals, movies, all that stuff. Every time I try to introduce him, he gets the water bottle super close to the mic. He's a consistent...
Go ahead. Can you say my credits, please?
I will say we're all being a little persnickety about him when
Yes.
you think about it.
Exactly.
Losers, winner. Exactly. That's right, Joel. Go ahead and mute their mics. This is my show now.
Oh my God.
I don't think he's even. He's outside smoking a cigarette. He's
You
I hate
and
my life.
Ahmed Al-Qadri love turning to the
Yeah,
editor.
turning to the fourth.
That you have to include the editor. It's a part of the. I feel like whenever I watch pods and they completely ignore the editor, I'm like, nah, he's right there.
Well, first of all, I'm the editor.
You're like, I'm the captain now.
He's the, yeah.
Did
You're
I
like,
use another
I
word
put the
wrong?
deposit down. I'm everything.
Oh man.
This is our shout episode.
This is the episode.
Yeah,
where
I'm told you I'm loud. You can move the mic over here and we're good. There's no reason to even have it.
Oh my God. I love this chaotic energy right now.
Yeah, it's so chaotic already.
I would say yes, you're chaotic good.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the little chart or whatever. Someone showed me that, and I would hope I would chaotic good.
What are the other ones?
It's
chaotic neutral.
bad, chaotic neutral. What's neutral,
Yeah.
neutral good, neutral whatever. And then the other one that's for
Isn't
lame
it
people.
a D&D thing?
I don't know.
People love to categorize themselves.
If only
Honestly.
Laura Laham were here because she knows everything
She
about
calls.
D&D.
She shows up.
She's like, can someone say D&D? I have my
You
entire
say it 3
set.
times like
Yeah.
Bloody Mary. She
I have
appears.
everything available right now. Let's play.
She's on the TV.
Just appears. I love that so much.
Oh my God. All right, well, let's talk about my dad, or my family. I don't want to fuck up the, you know what I mean? We can just talk shit all day.
I like that you messed up our intro, but then you knew how we start
Yeah,
the
you're
Yeah,
pod.
I
everyone
read-
shut up.
I read the rubric. I'm a good student. I want to do a good job for you guys because I like y'all. But yeah, ask me
love
about,
you.
ask about 9/11 or whatever you guys are going to talk about. Israel, Palestine,
We
whatever
start
y'all
with
want.
9/11 and then move to Israel, Palestine.
You're we do every bad Arab thing. We just talk about and you get your opinion on it. Okay, all right.
Let's start with your parents. Who are they? How did they get here? Where are they from? Maybe even your grandparents, if you want to go that far.
I will just say, so my dad, he's from Iraq. He was born in Baghdad, and he came to the States in 79, I think. In 79, he came to the States, and then my mom, she's from Jordan. She's Jordanian Syrian, and she came to the States.
What? I didn't know you're part Levantine.
Yeah,
Look
that's
at
why.
that.
That's why I'm so handsome. Lock it in. Lock it
Look at
in.
this.
Persnickety in this bitch. No. Yeah. So I think that's like definitely. Yeah. So my dad came from Iraq, and then my mom. I'm like, who are these people again? No. And my mom came from Jordan. My mom's Jordanian. Syrian. She was born in Jordan, and she came here probably like 1994, 1993 is when my mom came. My dad came in 79. My dad was married once before.
Whoa.
Yeah, to a white woman.
Whoa.
She's cool as hell. I have a half brother. He's like, he's family, and he looks like me but white.
Whoa.
And he's like, so
I can't
all right,
imagine.
I gotta tell y'all more because it gets like deep. So
Michael,
my dad
quit your
is,
Hollywood career. Clearly, that guy's gonna make it.
dude, literally. So look, my dad is almost 90. Yeah, he's old. I'm 29. I'm the oldest of 5.
Wow.
Yeah. There is no need for Viagra at my dad's. He's like, this is not real. But no, like my dad, so I'm trying to think I'll just explain like how my dad kind of got to America, I think is a better way of saying it. So my dad, like obviously grew up in Iraq. He grew up in Iraq like after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, which is like an insane concept because that's like shit you look at in your textbooks. And it's like, that's my dad.
My dad was born in Constantinople.
My dad is in the textbook with like his flip flop. He's like, you know the little guy with the sultan? That's like my dad.
got,
He has like a
monkey
goat
on
in
his
his hand.
shoulder,
He's like,
yeah.
this is me. Look, this is me. So that's like my dad. And so it's like, my dad was really smart actually growing up. My dad's really fucking smart. So my dad grew up, wanted to study really bad. Eventually, like went to the military, did his time. My dad's a vet. And so in the Iraqi military, he was a veterinarian. He took care of all the horses.
So he's like kind of like
Double
a vet
vet.
and a vet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Knew you were gonna say that.
I knew you were too.
And so after that, he wanted to go study, and I think he got a scholarship to go study in Europe. He studied in Denmark. And at the time, when you go study in like a European country, you get like a host family. And so my dad stayed with the host family, and the host family's daughter, my dad married.
Oh.
She was like in her 20s, you know what I mean? Like around the same age, they got
Yeah.
married.
This was the white lady?
Yeah, it's a
Sorry.
white lady.
Was
it's
it
a
like
white
the
lady.
host family, the parents, like their worst nightmare?
Probably, I
Yeah,
would imagine
yeah.
so. Like even back then, I'm sure my dad was like a menace. You know what I mean? Like there's no way. They're like, and it's like they moved back to Iraq. They lived in Iraq for a while.
Wait, the white woman?
She went back.
Wow.
Here's the crazy part. So this is like really interesting. My dad told me this. He was like, when he came back to Iraq, I think in like the 50s and 60s. Back then it was like just the beginning of British colonialism, just beginning of like, everyone's starting to try to like take stuff. So there's like some white people starting to live there, some like, whatever, but there's really like no white people at all. So like seeing a white person was rare, much less being married to one. Like being married to a white woman was like a big status symbol back then.
Still is, baby.
Yeah, still is. But that was like their moment though. That was when people would be like, hamana. Like, it's like that was like their peak. Like, this was like, oh my God, a white person. And so my dad was like one of maybe like 50 people married to a white woman. So he would get invited to all these parties with Iraqi people who were married to white women. And you can imagine who's there. It's like ambassadors, like diplomats, like all these really important people. And it's not just like, but it's like also like French, like the French diplomat, like whatever, all these important like political people and like just rich people would come.
That he's like, and you have so much in common. You're
Literally,
both white women.
Literally, yeah. And so my dad would get invited to these things, and he made nice with everybody, and like he was like, getting in good with everybody, and it was like cool. And eventually, his wife was like, I can't do this anymore. Like we have like the culture's hard to like transition to, especially coming from like Denmark. And so they leave. But my dad said as they were leaving, like the Ba'ath Party was coming to power. And I'm assuming you guys know who the Ba'ath Party is. It's Saddam's party.
People say Bath.
Ba'ath. I think it's Ba'ath. It's Ba'ath
I
Party.
trust
yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's Ba'ath. I think it's Ba'ath Party.
Iraq.
The Baathists.
The Ba'ath. Yeah, I think it's the Ba'ath Party. Yeah, it's the Ba'ath Party.
No, yeah.
Now I'm like thinking about it. So I'm like, this is something that like Iraqi people will attack me if I get this wrong.
No,
They'll
you're
get
right.
so persnickety.
No, yeah. And so essentially what happened was he left and the Ba'ath Party came to power. My dad was like, if I had stayed, I would have got a position in his cabinet, in Saddam's cabinet. Not like the fucking executioner, but like, minister of transportation, something like small, just like some sort of government worker, and he would have made like a good living.
They're
I
probably
like that executioner is part of the
Literally.
cabinet.
I mean, it makes sense because he like ran our house like a dictatorship growing up, but it's like, it's kind of crazy to think like, oh, he would have just like worked in the government under Saddam's regime. And I was like, that's kind of cool.
And
cool
now
vibe.
instead he's the secretary of beating your ass.
Literally, yeah, literally. He's like, I just do it to you instead of the people.
You really took one for the team.
Yeah, and so then my dad lived in America for a while. Eventually he got divorced. And then I think like in his late 50s, 60s was like, hey, I want to get married again. Went back to Jordan, knew somebody that was related to my mom, was like, hey, I want to marry you. I think she said no after like a year of whatever, you know, she agreed. They come back to America. My mom was like young. It was like a different time, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are Arab and you get it. And so it's like a different time. My mom was like, I think 19 when she had me.
Wow.
She had just graduated high school, maybe a year or so later. She got married and then moved to the States. And so my mom moved out here, and then my dad, and they settled in Louisiana, and it's kind of been like that
Why
since.
Louisiana?
That's what I said. I was like,
Yeah.
why would you do that to us?
There's not a lot of. Are there?
There's
Arabs
no
there?
Arabs
Yeah,
in
I was
Louisiana.
gonna
It was just
say.
us.
Yeah.
It was like literally us for a long time. There were some Palestinians. There was like some
Okay.
Palestinians growing up. But for the most part, it was just like us.
It's
Like
so humid. We're used to such dry climate.
I think I asked my dad. He's like, it reminds me of Iraq. That's why I chose it.
Oh.
And I was like, that makes sense.
Okay.
And
so
that
yeah.
it was all chaos there.
It was really.
Chaotic
One thing I
fun.
think about is like, why would my dad put me in Louisiana and expect me to be a good Muslim? There's like Mardi Gras. There's like all this debauchery and
you can't
drinking.
even be a good Christian in
Literally,
Louisiana.
yeah. And it's like you expected me, like he put me on like the hardest mode possible and was like, all right, let's see what you got. Like he could have took us to Dearborn or some of these other places with tons of Arabs, and I probably would have like steered more into the path of like
Yeah.
religion. But then I was just like, all my friends were like not, you know what I mean? I had
Yeah.
barely any Arab friends. So it
Yeah.
was like, of course we were gonna do whatever we wanted.
What did your dad do?
So my dad's he's a vet, but he was a professor. He taught at LSU.
What did
Okay,
he
so
teach?
He
I
taught
thought,
veterinary medicine.
cool.
Yeah.
oh, okay. So that's what I meant. Like, what did he do in Louisiana? So
Yeah,
was
so
vet
he's a
in
professor.
Louisiana.
He's a professor
Okay.
for a long time, and then I think he would like practice on animals here or there. But for the most part, he was just a professor growing up.
I feel like that's wild. I feel like my parents would be like, "Why are you bringing animals to a doctor?" Like, I feel like my parents
Dude,
don't
he
even-
wouldn't let us get animals. He's like, you had animals. I was like, dude, you're a fucking veterinarian. Give us a fucking cat. He would never. We could not get animals.
So funny.
Yeah, I didn't even. As an adult, it like dawned on me. I was like, yo, you like taught this, you did this, and we couldn't get them. Eventually, I think like when
you
I was
didn't
like
want
in
to take work home.
Yeah, he didn't want to take work home. But it was kind of cool though. I feel like I don't know if it's through my dad, but like I feel like I have like good vibes with animals, like almost immediately. Because like growing up, I saw my dad like play with horses and
Yeah.
like hit a cow. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
it's Louisiana, so it's like farm animals everywhere, and so sometimes he would like go out, chickens. You know, it's like all these kind of animals that you don't see, as opposed to like here, it's like just dogs and cats. You know what I mean? There's not really a lot of like farm type
Yeah.
shit here.
There was a hipster chicken movement for a while. I
Yeah,
don't know if
and
that's
goats.
still
Really?
happening. Like, where just for some reason, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, I just knew so many people who were like, we're going to get chickens so we can have
I have
fresh
friends
eggs.
with
And I'm like,
chickens.
that's amazing. That sounds great. It's a lot of work though. To have.
It is a lot, and they shit everywhere.
Yeah.
They shit everywhere,
Yeah.
like all the time.
You need like a pen.
You need like a pet. My mechanic has pigeons.
Pigeons.
He's like a Russian guy. He's like, you want to see? And he'll like show me. There's like a fucking cage full of pigeons.
Does he just like get them off the street?
That's
Like,
what I said. I was
'cause
like,
you
did
don't
get-"
buy those.
He has a wiener dog and pigeons. I was like, this is pretty sick.
That's
Are they
so
friends?
cute. That
Yeah,
sounds like a
yeah, yeah. The wiener dog's like
cartoon.
old, so it's like slow.
Oh.
And then the pigeons are just like, "Meh, meh, meh," like shitting everywhere. I'm like, is this shitting in my car? He's like, I'll give you a discount too.
Pigeons were a much revered bird a long time ago because of their utilitarian, like homing pigeons. They were used to like
Yeah, pigeons were-
track shit and like send
Yeah.
letters and stuff.
Don't crows have like self-awareness? I'm like most
Cro- no,
comics don't.
Crows are depressed.
No, crows have facial recognition.
Ah, wow.
So like they
Wait,
can,
really?
yeah. So crows can actually remember facial patterns. So if you like fuck with a crow, the crow can tell it's like, I was gonna say cronies, but like the crow could tell its friends, and then they could like
But
retaliate.
can they tell the difference between brown women?
Absolutely not. You and I, if you don't ever fuck with a crow, it'll fall on my head.
The crow's racist. He like posted on your story. This crow is racist. Cancel this crow.
No, that's why they develop facial recognition so that they can target us more effectively.
I respect that.
Yeah, crows are apparently super smart. Like if you leave like things for them, they'll bring you presents, and the better the treat will correspond to the better the present. Whatever. This is so boring. I'm sorry.
I think it's fascinating. Like, what treats are crows bringing me? I want like a new car. Like, what? How
There
do
was
I get
somebody
that?
who trained birds to bring dollar bills to like fly around, and I think it was like somewhere in China that to basically anytime they would bring back a dollar, then they would get like the best treat. And so then the crow would just fly around the city and like find like loose dollars and then bring it to the person. Like, that's a great passive income strategy.
It's like way better than owning property. That's like what I'm going to do instead of owning property.
There's so many crows around my house, and I get so scared because of this facial recognition thing. And I'm like, I don't want there to be misunderstanding. I don't want to like offend them or do something
I
weird.
didn't know crows like this deep. Like I learned
Crows
so
are
much about crows in the last 30
vengeful.
seconds.
So vengeful. And
Like
they will
what?
like, so if you fuck with a crow, like it will remember. Just know that.
Maybe this is racist towards birds, but I feel like any bird that's like this size, I just assume is like kind of dumb and just like, you know what I mean? Like eagles and stuff, I'm like, yeah, they know stuff like hawks, but like crows, pigeons,
Yeah.
whatever, all that
Crows
shit. I'm
are
like,
big.
oh, these are like
Yeah.
fucking, they're just like eating garbage on the ground, like, and they're just like cawing all day.
Well.
But apparently they're bipolar disorder, apparently.
Yeah.
We brought you on here today to learn about crows.
You bring a live crow out and it's like, what the fuck did you say about me? It's like a smart ass crow can talk.
Welcome to Murder, She Wrote, the podcast about crows. All
Me
right.
and Christy just turned into crows.
Fly out the window. This podcast started so off the rails, and I didn't think I could get any further off the rails.
Listen, we're
and it
having
is-
fun. This is a good time. Let's keep talking about crows. How do we even get to talk about? Okay, so
'cause
next
you
question.
you wanted a pet, and your dad would never let. So then what ended up happening?
I think eventually he just like caved because once he had, I'm the oldest of 5. So once there was like 5 people like
And you're all like,
advocating
"Get
for
us
this,
pet,
like
get us
yeah, we think we got a cat, and then the cat ran away because my siblings cut its whiskers off.
Oh,
Why would
It looked like
do
Hitler
that?
cat because like
That's
and
so
it was like
sad.
drunk because like when you cut the
Yeah,
whisker, it
that's-
like looks drunk.
Does it hurt them?
It hurts them a lot.
it hurts,
Yeah,
and
it hurts
they,
them a
they
lot.
need their
They
whiskers
need them. They
to-
genuinely need.
to,
Like if you throw the cat
navigate.
without the whiskers, it's not gonna like
Oh, I
land
had
the
no
way.
idea. I thought it was just like hair.
It feels it. Yeah, it feels it.
Oh.
She's right. There's
Oh,
nerves
that's
in
so
them.
sad.
I felt very bad for him. I really missed that cat. I think it was
Well,
Tiger.
good for that cat getting out of
It
that
ran away the
situation.
second my mom opened the door.
That's why your dad didn't want. He's like, you guys are gonna kill this.
Literally, he
He's
did
like,
it.
I'm
Some
supposed
good
to protect
intuition. I'm gonna give him
animals.
that. I'm gonna give him that. You're right.
That's
Good intuition.
hilarious.
We did beg for a pet, and we finally got a rabbit, and then my mom did end up caring for this rabbit single-handedly. We like leaned right into what she thought
Dude,
was
my
going to
mom-
happen.
My mom did not care about the cat. My mom was like, no.
Oh, my mom was like my mom was like at home cooking meals for this rabbit. This rabbit lived for like 90 years.
Dude.
It had an Arab mom.
She sent the rabbit to college.
That's hilarious. She's like sending the rabbit with Tupperwares of.
She sent the rabbit to
Like,
Islamic. Sent the rabbit to Islamic school on Sundays. Like, dude, your mom like gives a shit about the rabbit. Yeah, my parents weren't down with pets.
Did you go to Islamic school?
I went to like a Sunday school. Like we'd go every Sunday, and like that's kind of where like I have everything. Also, like growing up, we grew up in such a small Arabic community that it was like. Obviously, my parents were like very religious, but like going to the mosque was like we went every Friday. Like we always went to the mosque. We always played. We had fun. And it's like our mosque was just somebody's house. Like it wasn't like a big mosque that you see like the ones in LA or you go kind of anywhere. There's always like a giant with the dome. Ours was just like some house in the hood we rented, and we all just prayed in it. And like that was it. And it was like the women were in one room, men were in the other, and then all the kids would just play every Friday. So like that was like very much like a community. Obviously, it's like religious and stuff, but it was more like a community center for us. Like that's where all the Arabs would go.
Totally.
And we'd go every Friday, and we'd like play and have fun, and like, yeah, I think I went every. Then eventually, like our community got big enough. We started like They started like a private school for like Arabs, but it was like so small and kind of like they were still kind of figuring it out. My dad was like, I want you to have like you're gonna go to like a public school or whatever, so you can like get an education. But I would go on Sundays and like do like Islamic studies. Like learn Arabic, like all the good stuff. You know what I mean? It was like all kids my age.
I wish I had something like that. I feel like I was so removed from my culture.
We were so bad. We would just like cut up the entire. Also, one thing about our Islamic school was like other dads could beat you on behalf of like your dad. Like another dad, because it was just dads volunteering to teach. You know what I mean? Because it was like our school was so small, and so like you think like you could do bad shit and get away with it, and like our teacher was like, I'm going to beat you on behalf of your dad because he's not here, and like you just get beat with by some other kid's
That's
dad.
so funny.
And you'd be
that's
scared to-
awful, but it's also funny
It's so
that they were
funny.
like citizens arrest.
And there was like other dads like you don't want to get beat by because they were just so fucking buff and scary. You're like, dude, I do not want that to
I miss
happen.
my dad's weak wrists.
Oh my God. Yeah. But it was like honestly very fun. Look, I think of it very fondly. Like it was like very much a great time. Like we had so much fun just like getting to kind of bro out. I didn't really understand like how small or I was like, this is just what I knew. And then I would grow up and go to like mosques and shit. And I was like, this is insane.
Did you feel like an attachment to Islam at all?
Oh, for sure. I was like religious up until probably like middle school. I was like pretty religious. I like pray 5 times a day. I still fast, you know.
I feel like everyone's religious, and then you hit puberty, and then you're like, nope.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And also, I started like my parents were like very against me like hanging out and doing stuff because they just thought it was like weird to like go to people's houses and stuff.
Yeah.
And eventually I got old enough and I pushed hard enough to where like I would start hanging out with my like white friends, my black friends, my like Asian friends, and it was like I started to kind of get exposed to stuff and have more autonomy, and then that definitely made me be like, oh, okay, well, no, I don't think I'm religious. You know what I mean? I still like think a lot of my morals and values come from Islam. And even now, I'll like go back and read stuff from time to time, and it's like, yeah, I definitely think a lot of my morals and values are there, but I'd be lying if I said I was like a practicing Muslim. Like, no, like I'll fast, you know, I'll pray from time to time, I'll go to the mosque, but like I'm not like a day-to-day.
Yeah.
You know, there's guys who are like, you know what I mean? There's like a strict regime that a lot of people are doing on. I'm not on that. And so, you know, I have my relationship with Islam, and honestly, I view it very positively. I don't feel like, oh, my culture, you know what I mean? I think I didn't like my parents for a long time, and that made me not like Arabic culture and Islam. And as I got older, I separated the two, and I was like, no, I have no problem with my culture.
Gotta separate the art from the artist, as we say on this podcast. We say it a lot. Okay, and why didn't you like your parents? Was it anything specific, or was it just like, oh, mom and dad are making
my parents? I grew up in a very chaotic household. I think, like, you know, my parents just didn't get along, and so that was kind of trickled down onto us. You know, they had a big age gap. You know, think about it. My dad made a good living, but 5 kids is 5 kids. Like, my dad had 2 jobs. My mom had 2 jobs.
Wow.
We were kind of like, I was just kind of forced to take care of my siblings a lot. They didn't understand the concept of like American culture with like, oh, I'm gonna like go to the mall. I'm gonna like go to the movies. I'm gonna like sleep over at a friend's house. Like, oh, like can I have like lots of clothes? You know what I mean? And like I was like a kid, so I didn't understand that like my parents just grew up differently. Like my dad had 2 shirts growing up. He's like, I had 2 shirts.
Wow.
And it's like I would be like, can I go to the mall? He's like, no. Why would you? Are you serious? No. Like, and he's like, 2 shirts is like great. Like he's like, that means like we were like middle class. Like we did really well. And so it's like you know what I mean? So it's like there's a big disconnect for my parents and me, especially because like I think
because you have so many good shirts.
Yeah, he's good. Exactly. But just like disconnects like that, we just fought all the time. And I think I was also just like a kid, you know?
And you were the oldest, so you had to be the trailblazer.
Exactly. Yeah. So I pushed a lot. And then my siblings had it way easier. My sister, I mean, girls is girls, you know what I mean? It's just it's a completely different ball game. So my sister definitely had like her own journey, but my brothers all had it way easier. Like my brother went on spring break when he's in high school. Like he got to go sleep over all the time because I was like, hey, this is normal. Like it doesn't mean like we're bad or bad shit's gonna happen to us. This is just like what our kids our age do. And they didn't get that when I was growing up. But yeah.
Yeah, my brother was such a like introvert that he never like broke any of the rules, so I had to be the trailblazer.
Yeah, I trailblazed
That's like
pretty
a
hard.
lot of work.
It's definitely, we fought a lot.
Yeah.
We fought oh my God, I think we fought like up until I got a car. And then I just wasn't at home anymore. You know what I mean? And whenever I was at home, constant fighting and then like my mom and my dad would team up to like fight me. That was a time where they were like, let's put our differences aside to like fuck up Michael. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, that was like a big reason why we all fought. But as an adult, like I understand. They were really scared. They did not have the emotional tool belt to raise kids in America. My mom was also very young. You gotta keep in mind, like my mom, in a lot of ways, felt like my big sister growing up.
Right,
like
19 years older than you.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like I learned Arabic because my mom didn't speak English growing up. Like we learned English together. Like when I was born, my mom had just got here, so it was like we learned English together. My first job was with my mom. Like me and my mom really like grew up together. Like my mom was like. I don't know how your mom's are. My mom would be like, can you come with me to Walmart? I don't want to go by myself. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe. Like she's still scared to like go out and like, cause she was just like young and like figuring out how it is to live in a country that's like unlike anything you've ever experienced. Like imagine you don't speak the language. You know, like back then it wasn't like you could like date for a while and stuff. It's like everything's kind of set up. So you're like, my dad isn't a stranger, but they're not like deeply connected. You know what I mean?
I
it's
also
like,
think it's wild that they go straight from like their family house to a husband. So they never get that like pivotal time where they like learn how to be independent
or
women.
just like learn how to be a person.
Yeah.
Yes, I completely
Your
agree.
entire personhood is contextualized by being wife, mother, or somebody else's daughter, and that's it. Those are the only 3 things you get to be.
Exactly. And I think it's a lot better now. Like all my cousins and stuff, they're all like went to college, have like degrees, they met their like hubbies on Facebook. You know what I mean? It's like a little more chill.
They
but
met
like
their hubbies on Facebook.
But like, so what I was told from my cousins was like, you message through Facebook and like, you kind of like, you know what I mean? Get to know each other, maybe have coffee secretly. Then it's like, then you tell your parents, hey, we're ready to like get married.
Right.
But my mom was like, that was not an option for my mom. So yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of autonomy. And it's like, think about it. She came, had a kid, then had 4 more.
Wow.
It's like maybe you had 2 kids, you could like chill and reflect.
Yeah.
5 kids
No,
is
you're
like
just
fucking insane.
them out.
My mom cooked every night. My mom went to work every day. Bro, my mom like hustled her ass off. Also, my mom like worked retail jobs. Like it wasn't like my mom was like, you know, like obviously my mom could have been a scientist if she wanted. And those jobs are like more like, but my mom was like hands-on, like dealing with people and like in situations where I'm sure like someone from her background, it takes a lot of courage to do. You know what I mean? And so it's like, dude, my mom like
Customer service in the South? You kidding me?
that's what I'm saying. And so it's like, and also my mom did a great job at like, she's like a really hard worker. My mom is like, every job my mom has, everyone like loves her. She like gives a shit. She like gives a shit. Does that make sense? Like you'll like go to my mom right now, I don't want to say where my mom works because it's like public or whatever, but mom works like at a retail place and I'll go to visit her and everyone's like, dude, your mom's like the best. We love your mom. Mom will like bring food for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also my mom picks up a lot of like slang from like, she works with a lot of black women. She'll pick up like slang, like she said like drip the other day. I was like, who the fuck told you that? Like
That's
what?
amazing. I mean, your mom's in her late 40s. Like
She's basically, I'm not going to say our age. I'm not in my late 40s.
She's a Gen Xer.
She is a Gen Xer. My mom is young. Well, it's like this is like a morbid thing to say, but my mom has like a lot of life to live as opposed to my dad, who's, you know, maybe on the tail end of his. Like my mom will have like kind of like a second birth, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Your mom's slaying.
My mom, I will say this, my mom is very pretty. She dresses really well. She's like, people like, think my mom is like really cool. Like people like, my friends would come over and be like, dude, what's up with your mom? Like, no, don't even fucking dare. Don't dare.
I'm laughing.
Dude, your mom is like, what's up with ISIS, bro? You know what I mean? Like, shut the fuck up, man.
Christ.
And then is she and your dad, or how are they like getting along?
I mean, they're old now.
Yeah.
Everything is old and it's like everything is calm. Like everything has calmed down, you know what I mean? Everyone has kind of made their peace with what the situation is going to be.
Isn't it amazing how this like things just really mellow out?
With age, I think you just get too tired. You know what I mean? I think you just get older and you just accept things. You know what I mean? I think it's like either you make a change or you just, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And I think you get older at dealing with that. You know what I mean? As a kid, you're like, just bitch and moan and make a big deal out of it. But as an adult, you're like, either I accept this or I don't. And that's it. There's no like, I'm going to waste all this emotion like being upset about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think she just got to a place. Also, my mom is like thriving. She's like a huge Arab, like she's like, has like a ton of Arab mom friends. They like cook, they go to parties. My mom is like, she's like very much like, I feel like women age better than men in that way of like socially active, go to the gym. My mom like dresses well. She's like around. Like my dad just like chills and goes to Sprouts and prays.
Goes to Sprouts and prays.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's all he does ever. And like when I come into town, we'll go eat, but it's like he's very much like has 5 things he does. And that's it. My mom is like, thrive, you know what I mean? Like it's like a butterfly. Like, we'll go out, try new stuff. My dad's like, no.
I love that.
I feel like the one thing that's the hardest to me about this podcast is that my mom can't be friends with all our guests' moms. I think my mom would really like.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think you guys would. Everyone likes my mom. You guys would get along with my mom pretty well. My dad too. My dad's just like old now to the point where he's just like he'd be like, hey, what's up? And just like, you know, going he's like old, you know, he's like Haji mode. Does that make sense? My mom would be like, what are y'all doing? Especially because like girls, my mom gets really excited when I know girls because she's like, maybe you'll give me, you know what I mean? Maybe you'll get a girlfriend. Maybe you'll like whatever. Yeah. So my mom would definitely vibe with y'all.
How many sisters do you have?
I have one sister.
Just one poor girl.
Yes.
Her and all those boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, my sister definitely like. Also, my dad's like very traditional, so. Growing up as like like, you know, like an Arab-American woman and like, you know, it's like she grew up like with American culture and like my dad is very like, grew up on Islamic culture. So there's obviously going to be like a lot of friction there, you know what I mean? And so there was a lot of friction growing up and, you know, she's like better for it, I would hope. But I definitely like feel for her. Like I had a lot of friction, but like, it's just a different ball game. You know what I mean? It's just a different ball game.
I feel like I want to like adopt her.
We're super nice. We're super supportive. You know what I mean? I think she's figured it out pretty well. She's still young. She's like in her early 20s.
Oh, wow.
So it's like she's got like a lot of, you know what I mean? It's like once you're like 30, 35,
Yeah.
that's when like it's like,
Yeah.
all right. But she's still like, she's got her 20s. She's got her whole 20s.
Where does she live now?
They all live in Louisiana.
Oh, everyone's still
Everyone
there.
except one of my brothers, he moved to Denver.
Okay.
He's like, works in AC.
Like
Air conditioning.
HVAC?
Yeah, he's like,
Okay.
dude, this is great money.
Yeah, no, I know someone who's like the daughter of the HVAC, like king of the OC, and they have a nice house on
It's
the beach.
nice. It's good work. It's like consistent work. You
And
can
then
like,
your house is always climate controlled.
oh
Come
my
on.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, my dad's like, can you come look at the AC to my brother all the time for no reason? Yeah.
He never wants you to look at his jokes.
Dude, no, not at all. My parents like barely know. Not like in a way of like, at this point, I'm so autonomous and like, I'm like, the way my family dynamic is, it wouldn't matter. And my dad's just too old. But like, they don't really like, you know what I mean?
They're
They're
not
not
comedy is. Do they know you're a stand-up comedian?
Not really. I mean, like, kind of, I do. I mean, like, I have like a, you know what I mean? It's like I
Yeah.
have jobs and stuff. So it's like, I'm not like there yet. But it's like, they're not necessarily like I wouldn't tell my mom to come to my show unless I knew it was like gonna be clean or like,
Yeah.
like I would take my mom to see like Hassan Minaj or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
that's as far as it would go. My dad, I don't think would go to any of it. Not because he's not like.
Yeah.
It's just more like he's just like older now,
Yeah.
and it's like a lot.
Yeah,
It's just like a
like-
lot for my dad to do anything now.
Yeah, the whole concept of like stand-up comedy for somebody who's like almost 90.
My aunt I invited my aunt to Habibi's in San Francisco, and she's younger and cooler, but she was like very nervous that she wouldn't like get all the language stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
but
so
then she's.
interesting. You had a good time?
I think she had a very okay time. Her review
The
after
best we could ask.
She broke all the comedian's self-esteem.
She
You
did.
sat her in the
Her
front. She
review-
didn't laugh.
She left before I got out of the show, and I was like, "Uh-oh." And then the next day, she didn't say anything, and then finally, I had to be like, "So, did you like it?" And she said, "We all seemed desperate."
That's pretty accurate.
I know, I was
That's
like-
pretty accurate.
You're not wrong.
Damn, we got a like potential manager over here.
Yeah.
She did like oh my
What'd she
God,
like?
why am I blanking on his name? Daoud. She liked Daoud.
That was great.
Yeah,
That
she's
was
like,
so
I liked
funny.
Afghani. The rest of you seem
The
desperate.
rest of you, maybe start thinking about something else.
God, I hope I want to know who's on that lineup, and then
Me and Christy were.
send this clip to them and be
Yeah.
like, "Look, what are you up to?"
It's like, it's actually funny. Every single person except for Daoud has been on this podcast.
That's true. I can't
He's
believe we
elusive.
haven't had
I was
Daoud,
texting him
yeah.
the other day. He's sick right now. He's elusive, but yeah, I'm sure if you hit
Sorry,
him up, he'll come.
I'm laughing because this is not going to air anytime soon. So yeah, he's elusive.
He's elusive. Yes, he's elusive. I like say social security number in the mic.
I love how much you talk with your hands and how like performative your hand gestures are.
Really? Like I like move my hands a lot. Okay.
Yeah, I think you'd be a really good teacher. Have you ever taught
I
anything?
thought you were going to say mime.
Maybe no.
Or like an English teacher or something like that, because like the way that you do like these things, you're like there's a lot of clashes and there's a lot of like your hand gestures are
Next time he goes on stage, she's going to be like, what do I do with these? Am I using it?
No, you're like I tied my hand behind my back. I'm like no,
Never going to use his hands
never gonna
again.
do it again.
one of
I come
my
out there's like a fake prosthetic hand holding a mic.
three hands Albagdadi, that's what they call me. So how did you like find your way into this crazy world?
To be honest, I did not know you could do this kind of stuff until I was like in college. I had no idea you could do this. I'd like
Me
never
neither.
thought about it. I'd never like even like you know what I mean? I think with entertainment, I never saw myself in entertainment because I never saw anyone that looked like me doing entertainment. So for me, it just never felt like an option.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Louisiana. It wasn't like an entertainment hub. In college, I think I had like an internship, and I remember like my third day there, I was like, "This sucks.
Yeah.
Like, this is my life." You know what I mean?
What
It
was your major?
I have a degree in finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
right,
like,
right.
I like went and I worked like I got some cool internship in Louisiana, and I was working there.
Were you good at like math growing up?
So I'll say this. I think I was pretty good at everything. I just hated school because of me and because of like the friction with my dad. And so it's like, I don't think I ever like gave like friction with my dad. But I don't think I ever gave like school a good chance, if that makes, like, I don't ever was like excited about, maybe when I was like younger and like a kid, I like liked that. I like just like doing a good job. But as I got older, I was just like, I would just do what I needed to do to get by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I never really like gave any subject like cause like, you know, when you get in the middle in high school, that's when you really start to figure out, hey, I like this. Hey, I want to do this. I just kind of picked like I think I didn't want to be a doctor and I didn't want to be an engineer. And I was like, what's like a reasonable career? And I was like, oh, I could do finance. Okay. It's like a reasonable thing. And so I did finance.
And you still do that for your day job?
Yeah, I'm like in and out. Sometimes I'll have like good spurts where I'm making enough money doing this, and then sometimes I'll need it. Like before I moved here, I was making a decent living doing stand up and like film stuff, and then I moved here and the pandemic started, and so it was like, all right, let's get that degree working.
And then 300 strikes.
Yeah, I'm like, I used to be a financier at the Hollywood Comedy. But yeah, no. Yeah, I think in college, my first internship, I was just like, oh, this sucks. Like, this is so boring. I was like falling asleep at work, and they were like upset. They're just like, don't do that. Like, just please don't do that, you know? And then
They sat me down and they said, please don't do that.
just like, don't do that, man. And then so I think I was talking to my buddy, and I was like, yeah, it'd be cool to just like tell jokes to somebody. Like, tell jokes to people, or just like be funny. It's like, you can do that. It's like it's called stand-up comedy. And then like I had found like an open mic in my hometown, and then I went and did it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. And then it was like I finished college, and then I started really like trying.
Yeah.
Like I would like do shows. I had like would throw shows, but like.
So you've been doing this like since you were pretty young.
Yeah, I was pretty young.
Wow.
And then like 22, 23, when I was like, all right, let's like really try to make this happen. Let's like do whatever I can. Because in college, you know, I would like maybe get up once a month. Maybe like in the summers, I would get up a lot. I would like go to New Orleans all the time and do shows.
Oh,
but I grew up in a city where there was like one mic a week. You know what I mean? I would throw shows, and that was fun. I would do other people's shows. I had an internship in New York, and that summer I did mics. Like, I would like mic 5 times a night. That was like my first time of like really getting like okay, this is like what it feels like. And then I came back. I finished out my senior year of college, and I was like, okay, like I didn't take a job. I like took a job at Apple, like at the Apple store.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I'll really just try and see if I can make this a living. And then things started to work out, things started to get better. And then eventually I kind of capped out in Louisiana. Like I was like touring and doing like, I'd go to like other cities. I'd go do like road gigs and stuff. And then my friend was like, you need to like move. You need to like move somewhere. Like this is like it. Like either you stay here and this is what you do and like it's chill, or you try to do it bigger. And so I moved to LA like 3 months before the pandemic started. And I moved to LA not New York because I had like film stuff. I had like a movie coming out in theaters. Was really excited about it. And then the week I came out, the pandemic hit. Or like the 3 months, I think I was there for 3 months. The week the movie came out, the pandemic hit. So they pulled it, and like, you know, chaos ensues.
Oh, no.
And so yeah, you know, it's been like
What movie was it?
The Hunt.
Oh,
It's a great movie.
yeah.
I've like worked a ton on set. I worked with like fucking awesome people. It was an amazing experience. It got me so much stuff. I got so many opportunities out of doing that.
Where can we stream that?
It's on probably HBO.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a vibe.
our favorite of the streaming network.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're like trying to like get rid of it and just like make it max.
Oh.
Like it has such a good like HBO is like
Right.
top tier. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
you think they're gonna get rid of it?
I think they're gonna try to like
HBO?
make it all like one at some
I
point.
think it is, Matt.
It is one, but it's like I think they're like it's like but you'll go to like
You go,
HBO
yeah,
stuff.
they have like little.
Soon it's just going to be,
Literally, it's just gonna be a blue button. You press it and it just goes into your brain.
I heard something. This is apropos of nothing, that Disney tried to trademark Dia De Los Muertos, like in
What?
conjunction with Coco.
That is just
And people
so
were
hilarious.
like so fucking up in arms about this. Sorry, I was just thinking about like Max is just gonna be like, yeah, we're just the color blue now, and that's what we are. It's, you know, like Barbie pink, we're Max blue. Crazy. We just keep getting simpler and simpler for no reason. HBO is such a brand. Like, why did you need, if it ain't broke? Anyway, I don't understand these things.
Yeah, I think it's just money. It's all just money. They just want to make
Also,
money.
I think executives like to change things sometimes to feel like they're doing things.
Exactly. They'll come in and be like, let's
Yeah.
redo the table.
We're gonna rebrand. Remember when they redid the Paramount logo and everyone just lost their mind? They made it like a Dell icon.
Looks like a Panera Bread logo.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell,
100%.
man?
Yeah.
It's like, my nephew made this. What do we think?
We paid him $45,000.
He's in 7th grade.
His name is Chad.
We gave him a little job. Okay, so then like, how do you feel like your like goals or like your trajectory has this changed since you moved here?
I've had to just be very realistic. You know, I think when I moved here, I was a little like, not necessarily delusional, but like,
You were 26.
yeah, I was like 26 when I moved here. I didn't think I was going to be a big star.
I tell
but
everyone that you're like 22. I
that's
don't
what
know
I'm
why
saying.
I think you're 22 in my
Like,
head.
Michael, are you 15?
I'm like, yeah, Michael, like the Gen Z icon.
The Gen Z, exactly, the Gen Z icon. No, I think when I moved here, I was just like, I mean, I'm just from like a small town. Like, I can't like tell you guys enough how like different it feels where I'm from and how like, you know, a day here feels like 2 weeks where I'm from, you know? And so I think it was just a really like, it was overwhelming for a long time. And I just had to like,
Because
really
how much stuff you're doing or how much
stuff,
people you're-
just like stuff, the way like life works, like everything is hard here, and not in like a bad, but just like you have to hustle. Like just like going to the grocery store, going to
hard.
else. I had like no
Yeah.
family here. I didn't know anybody, and so it was like I came out and just kind of like started from square one, and so that was like a thing. But honestly, when I got out here, I didn't really have like. I think the one thing honestly like I didn't expect too much to happen. I didn't expect there to not be as much like you gotta look. I think like the best way of saying it is like I came out and the pandemic started, so it was like immediately my expectations like completely changed, and so it was like as far as like trajectory, I think like so much has changed since I moved here. Like I came, the pandemic started, like really my goal is to just like make a living. Like it'd be cool to tour, you know, sell a bunch of tickets in every city and like be able to like make a special, even if I put them out on YouTube and like people like them, maybe make like some movies or like cool little projects on the side. As far as getting there, like I think I'm making progress. My reasoning of moving to a bigger city was to get better. That was like my biggest reasoning. I was like, I just want to get better.
Excellent, yeah.
I just want to move and get better at stand up. And then like that's happening. And so that's something that
awesome,
I'm taking pride in, because once you're out here long enough, you realize everything is chaos and you're not in control of the opportunities you get. You'll get stuff for not doing shit and you'll get nothing for trying as hard as you can. And that's just kind of how it works.
true.
And so I've succumbed to the idea of like, it's not about the results, it's about the effort. And so I just try as hard as I can. And like, I'm really focused on just like getting as good as I thought I was going to be in my head. Like when I moved here, I was like, this is how good I think I can be. And I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to being as good as I can be. And then when I'm there, I'll just look around and see what kind of opportunities I'm at. Maybe I'm making a living. Maybe I still have a day job. But at least like if I stop or I don't stop, I'll be like, I'm as good as I can be. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's something I can like live with, as opposed to like not getting this thing, not being able to tape for this, not getting this role. Cause it's like, that stuff is all like 20% talent and like network connections, just pure luck, the way you look. And
I know this is ridiculous, but I'd rather be the comic that everyone's like, she's so good. She never really gets what she deserves. And to be the comic who's like touring and everyone's like, why? Like, how did she get to be this successful? It's just different.
Within reason, though. I don't want to be like mega poor. You know what
I mean, I don't want to,
yeah,
but
I don't want to be mega poor.
Yeah.
This place has made me realize, like, God, it's hard. Like, this place is like, you're 5 steps away from just like, your life can fall apart.
Yeah,
Julia
absolutely.
Austin has this hilarious video where she was like, somebody came up to me and told me that I'm one of the most underrated comics in LA. And I was like, what a polite way of telling me I'm not successful.
Yes.
I love Julia Austin. She's the best. That's
she's hilarious.
Cool. I'm very jealous that you had like that incubator in a small scene.
Oh, no.
You know,
I
to
wish...
like get confident and then to kind of like come here and be like, oh, actually I have more work to do. Whereas I feel like when I started, I was just always like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever, you know what I mean? Like it just feels like starting, not on the bunny slope.
I agree. I would say that, like, you know, to like make you feel. There's always gonna be like
to make you feel better.
yeah, to make you. I mean, just like because I get it. I totally felt that way because like I came out here and like I would see comics from other small scenes and like, oh, they had like a festival, they had like a club, and like they got to do all these things and then come out here, and I was like, I don't have any of that. Like the first show I got booked on was mine. I just started my own show because there just wasn't any stage time, and so it made me realize like. These things, like I think with like comedy, it's like all about really like validation. And you know, it's like you have to learn to like validate yourself. Cause really a festival and all these things are just like ways for you to be like, oh, I'm doing
Getting
good.
somewhere.
Like
Yeah.
I'm getting somewhere.
Most
and
of the festivals are like basically scams.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And it's like a lot of the stuff now is all really social media based. And it's like, if you do the festival, it doesn't mean you're going to like, things will change for you.
If you do the festival, it means you paid money to be there and you didn't get as much money as you put into being there. That's what it really means.
Of course.
I'm never going to get booked on a festival again.
Yeah, every festival watches.
I'm like,
this
speak for
podcast.
yourself. Big shout out to all the festivals booking this upcoming season. I am available.
No festival
yeah.
listens to this, but also like, yeah.
But your
it
journey is like very interesting because it's like you started here, and I feel like you immediately saw like this is the top, and this is like
Christy
what.
didn't start here.
Where did you start?
I started in San Francisco, did that for like 10 months, and then came here. So
San Francisco is still equivalent though. San Francisco is like great. All the comics I know from San Francisco are hilarious.
San Francisco is
They're
like-
San
super
Francisco,
funny. They
yeah,
crush.
insane,
They have
yeah.
a great like. They're all very close knit. They help each other out,
Yeah.
and it's like a very
When
good
I was
scene.
there, like I would do a show and they'd be like, we need a woman on another show. Can you do another one tonight? And I was like, what? Like in LA, I have to like beg for a set like months
Yeah.
apart.
They're like, wait, there's too many dudes on this show. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. When I like that they're like mindful of that.
Yeah.
I always say like I didn't move to LA because I was like I'm ready for LA 10 months in. It just happened to work out this way, and I think it's like a blessing and a curse. You know, like on the one hand, it's just like so hard to get stage time, and it's so hard to like feel like you're making a dent in progress, but it
course,
also is like amazing to be at the epicenter of so much and to be able to just because like in San Francisco when like a big comic rolls in, they're like, oh, like so and so's here for 2 nights and it's this big deal, and like we're in LA and we're like, oh, every A-list comic is here 5 nights.
They're
I
on
can see
the
them for
bar show
free.
with the 15 people. They're on the
Right.
same bar
Yeah.
show as you, and there's 15
Yeah.
people here, and they're like excited. They
There's
need to work out.
like no comic that I'm like, oh, I have to go see this comic because literally, like, I've seen Beth Stelling in backyards. So
Yeah, I'll say this: I go to the store a lot to watch. Still, I
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
love
sure.
going to the store to watch. I'll
For
like pick.
sure.
I try to go once a week or every other week. Well, I'll just go sit in the back, watch. I'll go say hey and hang out.
Yeah.
That's like really. That's like
Yeah.
the fun part, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like I go and I watch, and I'm just like, this is like free college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like look at like. These people all do weekends like if you lived in a small town, you'd have to go every weekend for 6 months to see all these people, and I'm
pay
seeing them
so much
all
money.
in a 30
Yeah.
minute to 2 hour period, and it's like that's insane. You
and
know
they're
what I
only
mean?
doing 15 minutes, so you're just
You're
getting,
seeing the
like,
best.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're seeing them work out new shit,
Yeah.
and like oh my god, I always same with the improv. Like I'll just like see someone come in that I really like. I'll go sit in the back and watch them run their hour, and like I try to do that as much as possible because then I leave inspired and I'm like excited about comedy again. You know what I mean? 'Cause
It's
you got to
so
balance out the
true.
mics.
I should do that more. Yeah.
I remember one time I was so sad about just like comedy in general,
course.
and then I like went to the improv and watched Patton Oswalt, and I was like, oh yeah, I love comedy. I forgot
Yeah.
about it. Like just when I was like, I fucking hate comedy. I don't ever want to laugh.
The
again.
mics can really
Mics will
really
kill you.
take
Mics will kill your
spirit away.
self-esteem.
Yeah, I've basically cut them back dramatically, and I feel like a better comedian, and I feel much healthier in my brain about comedy. I like really enjoy doing it.
I've now decided that like I only go to
Just
the
like,
mics.
I just started enjoying it.
No, I'm just saying like in the same similarly,
Yeah.
like I will only go to the mics that don't make me feel
Yeah.
like absolute
Yes.
shit and like just are like demoralizing, and you have to sit through
I'm a lot pickier.
a lot of bad energy. And then you go up and you're like trying out stuff and everyone's like, we hate you.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
you'll give up on material too
Yeah.
like too quickly because it like doesn't work in a mic setting, but it's just not working because everyone's miserable. And then you do it on a show and it crushes.
It crushes,
and
yeah.
like, yeah.
And it's there have been so many times where I was like, oh, I'm bad, or this joke isn't good. And it really was just like I was putting way too much value in like the comedians who were in the room.
Yeah, I mean, I think the in my opinion, the way to have like the most successful careers, you just stop caring what other comedians think.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like you might get judged on your way up, and then once you figure it out, and they're like, "Oh, how'd you do that?" And it's like,
Yeah.
you guys made me feel like shit all the way up until this point. So it's like, and it's also like at the end of the day, like comics aren't gonna buy tickets to your shows.
Yeah.
Right,
You know
they're
what I
not
mean?
your audience.
They're not your audience. You're catering to whoever wants to come to see you. You know,
Exactly.
and it's like, especially nowadays when it's like there's no like gatekeepers. I mean, obviously like there's gatekeepers for certain opportunities, but like, I mean, I've seen 4 or 5 of my friends over the last like 3 to 5 years just like completely take what they were doing, package it well, put it on social media, and now they're just like, they have their own
Absolutely.
thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing, and I'm sure we know all of the same people.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's like very like reassuring. You know what I mean? I like that. You know what I mean? Because it's like at least it's in my control, and it's like you kind of, as
Right.
opposed to like, you know, I think before all of the social media stuff became like kind of one of the most important things, you were at the mercy of like a dude, you know what I mean? Some dude who worked at some agency was like, I just don't like you. Or like, I don't, you know what I mean? Now it's like, that doesn't matter, you know what I mean? And if you get big enough or get good enough or whatever, it's like,
That's
you
the
just
thing. You open the
supersede
doors
them. Yeah,
yourself.
you can just book I've like gone to places, set my own venue up, done my own show, made money and left. And it's like, I just think we all are really like, we all want validation, you know what I mean? It's like a part of the game.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, I want to be at this club because like Mark Maron took a shit here in 1996. I want to do that. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, of course. But then they're like, you're making a living. And it's like, that's like the goal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have some questions for you. Or unless do we have any? Is there any other?
No, okay. No, pivot.
So we have some questions for you. The first one is: Cleopatra was a woman of luxury. What is a luxury bougie thing you can't live without?
Man, I don't know. I'm like pretty like a simple man. Oh, I'm trying to think.
Fashion. You've got pretty tight fashion.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
having nice clothes. A lot of my stuff is like thrifted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm very like
Yeah,
like strategic about what I buy. Maybe like luxury, probably like nice sheets, like nice like bed linens. You know what I mean? Something
That
like
comes
that.
up a lot.
That's
Yeah.
That's the third time that's come up on this podcast.
Yeah, probably something like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That or like a really nice raincoat. Those are like I grew up in Louisiana.
Yeah,
It rains
nice
a lot.
coat.
Like a nice raincoat's like a very underrated.
I'm imagining you in one of those like yellow.
Trust the Gordon's fisherman.
Has like my
Exactly.
Instagram on it. You're like, Michael, really?
He has like oyster crackers in his pocket.
Here, take an oyster cracker. That's so funny. Yeah, I find that like I've kind of given up a little bit on innerwear, and so I'm just like wear whatever, get a really nice coat, and just you could
Yeah.
a nice outerwear can like redeem an entire outfit.
Yeah, and I don't think like brands are as relevant as they used to be. If it looks cool and it's good quality, like hey, who cares where you got it from? I feel like growing up, it was like, do you have this thing? And now it's like no one cares at all anymore.
Right.
I see people, especially here, I see people make their shit on the street, and it's like, where is this? Like, oh, I made this myself. I was like, oh, I'll take one.
Oh yeah, where was I? I was at a show recently, and somebody was wearing the coolest sweatshirt, and I was like, where was that? And he's like, I made it.
Yeah, I
was
see
like,
that
oh,
a
yeah.
lot now. It's like very much like you're just like you can kind of just do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Cleopatra wasn't actually Egyptian, but she embraced a lot of Egyptian customs. Are there any super American customs you've adopted, or are there any customs from like Iraq that you can't shed?
I'm like pretty. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like I grew up in Louisiana, so there's a lot of like Louisiana culture. I've like pretty like in like I do.
what?
Cool.
I eat crawfish. I do like crawfish, but I make like gumbo, crawfish etouffee. I do
How
Mardi
come you
Gras.
haven't done one of those like where you put them on newspaper and you?
Oh, I do that like 3 times this year.
Okay, let's.
Yeah. Oh,
Where's
y'all
the
think-
invite?
I don't ever, y'all would, every time I've ever had anyone from LA come over, they're like, "This is disgusting. You
Are
guys
you
are eating.
kidding?
You guys are eating red
No.
cockroaches. We're leaving."
No.
I'm from the East Coast. We like
You do
lobster.
it? Oh, okay. So you'd
Yeah,
understand.
Yeah.
Most people think it's like weird and gross.
Really?
Yeah. I've had like we had a crawfish boil like a while ago, and then people were just like,
They're so cool.
they like all were like, get a picture of me doing it on my story. They ate one. They're like, all right, that was cool. And that was like it was like a fun experience. I was like, you're supposed to eat all of them.
Yeah.
I've
Hot
never
sauce,
done
slap
that.
your mama seasoning.
Oh
Are
yeah.
those like the giant shrimp? Is that what crawfish? I don't actually
It's
know.
the red bug.
The red bug.
The little
Yeah,
little
it's like
red one
if
with the
a shrimp
claws.
and a lobster had a
okay.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done that one.
They're really good. And they have these big beady eyes. They're actually very cute.
They're very-
but then you're supposed to rip the head off and
Yeah,
Oh.
she knows what's up.
Okay.
She knows what's up.
I might get squirmy, but I do eat bugs.
I
We
did
eat
that
bugs on
once
this
in front of
podcast.
somebody, and he's like, "Oh my god, you!" Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I loved about New Orleans was how spooky it was. It just felt very haunted and just tons of stuff. Is Baton Rouge like that? Or is
Kind
that
of.
more
Baton Rouge
like-
is more. There's like haunted places everywhere in Louisiana. Like there's like that. If you want the spooky vibe, there's places everywhere in Louisiana that has that. But Baton Rouge is more of like suburbia.
Okay.
There's like LSU. That's like a huge college football. It's like very college town.
Yeah.
Like football, basketball, baseball. They have a really big like sports program. So that's kind of like. It's just like a college town
So
kind
it's
of
not
feel.
like
if that
haunted. Okay.
No,
I
so
don't
there's
know
some
if you have
haunted
any-
places. Do you know the 13th Gate? It's like one of the best haunted houses in America.
Where is it?
It's in my hometown.
Okay.
They started in my hometown. It's like
It's called the 13th Gate.
it's incredible. Like Discovery Channel did a documentary on it. And that, like all these places, like the best haunted house in America, best haunted.
Why?
It's because it's just like they really gave a shit. They like the props are well done. Everybody's like trained actors. Like you'll go in and you feel like you're in like a meat factory about to get cut up. You know what I mean? It's like
Okay,
just
so
very
it's
well
not
done.
the real haunted house.
So they have that, then they have a cemetery they just started where like ghosts and shit are, and they'll also fuck with you over there too.
Oh,
If you go to New Orleans, aren't you supposed to go on like a ghost tour?
Yeah,
Isn't
there's
that like
ghost
the big
tours.
thing?
There's ghost tours.
I can't remember who was telling me about this, but there's like apparently a haunted house or like a house that Nicolas Cage bought because.
Oh, I saw that. When I went to North, I saw that house. It's like
Yeah.
it's haunted. He sold it because it's haunted.
And then he was like, "Oh, you know, whatever."
He's also haunted though, so it's
Yeah,
like
that's true.
in the ghost's defense, it's like, bro, there's like you can't. That's like not the right person we need to listen to. You know what I mean? I would say.
But like he apparently they were like, okay, but like don't stay the night or whatever. And then
Yeah.
like apparently he like truly
Freaked
was
out?
surprised by how.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'll say there's a lot of. If you're into that stuff, you can get your fill. There's a lot of really.
I would
spooky
never
stuff.
voluntarily walk into a situation that's like it's gonna be haunted. I don't want to experience it, but I love to hear about it.
You should go. You should go.
I can
you should
relate
just,
to that.
You should just
Feels
go to a ghost tour. I think if you went to a ghost tour, you'd have a great time.
A ghost tour.
A ghost tour where they took you around, told you about the. You don't have to like. No, they're gonna like
but
talk
what
to the
if,
ghost.
But
You know
sometimes
what I mean?
people see stuff on the tours, and I
No,
don't
they
wanna do
don't. It's like in the
that.
French Quarter. You have like a po' boy. It's like super chill.
They're like, "You're get a beignet and
Yeah,
shut
literally.
the fuck up."
Yeah, literally. You have like a cup of coffee the whole time.
Yeah. They're just
A
gonna
ghost
tell
isn't
you
gonna
ghost
scare you with a cup of coffee in your hand. You know what I mean?
You
There's
know,
no way.
you never know.
You have a matcha latte in your hand. The ghost's gonna be like, I'll let her slide.
Speaking of bougie,
Oh, also Iraqi customs. Are there any that you're hanging on to?
I don't necessarily know like Iraq, more like maybe just Arabic customs.
Yeah.
I can cook all the food. I can cook mensif.
good
I can cook
boy.
matluba. I read and write Arabic pretty well. I can speak Arabic. Obviously, you know, like a hookah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the little prayer beads.
Yeah.
I do those a lot. I like learning that from my dad growing up. I have them in my car when I drive around. Just like calms me down. Trying to think of like any like. Yeah, I
Like
think
superstitions or anything?
the eye.
Yeah,
I'm
what-
sure you guys have heard of the
yeah.
eye.
Yeah,
The eye
yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
of course, the eye.
Yeah.
And then I think that's probably it. Yeah, the eye is probably like the top. Like my mom was like, "Don't tell anyone your accomplishments because the evil eye will like they'll get taken away or whatever." Both my parents
Oh,
said
yeah.
that. Both my
Yeah,
parents
yeah.
said that
tell
growing up.
nobody.
But then, like on Instagram now, it's like all you do.
It's
is,
like you have to do
Yeah,
that.
you
That's
have to
like
be
the
like-
point. The evil eye started Instagram. That's what
Yeah.
happened, man.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pivot to our last segment. This is called Dig Deep. Our first question is: Cleopatra was portrayed by Liz Taylor in the 1963 film If Your Life Were a Movie, or a crossover of two movies or two TV shows. What would they be, and who would play you?
Man, dude, I got in a lot of trouble selling weed growing up, and so something with like drugs, maybe like a Breaking Bad or like The Wire, mixed with like
Isn't there a show called Weeds? That's about
Yeah.
weed.
weeds. But I'm not a hot mom, so it's like you need to relax.
You're like Mary
But you
Louise
have
Parker
Yeah.
will play me.
Literally, no, it's Nicolas Cage as Mary Louise Parker who will play me. Yeah, something like Breaking Bad or The Wire mixed with. I mean, maybe like Rami, just some sort of
Yeah,
brown show
for
with like
sure.
brown culture in
For
it.
sure.
You know what I mean? Something
Nice.
like that.
But make it prestige because of The Wire.
Make exactly.
Very cool.
Okay.
And then Cleopatra had a storied legacy as a scholar, politician, historian, prankster. I change them every time. What do you want your legacy to be, and what do you want your headstone to read?
Dude, I don't know, man. That's like a tough question. I read it when you sent it to me, and I was like, what
There's
the
no
hell?
way they'll ask me
What
this.
is my therapist coming to this? Jesus Christ.
You don't think about, like...
I think so. I think it's
I
like a
guess
lot.
you're not even 30 yet, so yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I still have a lot of time.
I mean, God willing.
Hey, look, God.
Let's
knock on some. There's no wood in here. Like we did that on purpose.
Somebody touch wood for us.
But no, I think. I mean, honestly, maybe that I made a bunch of cool art, made a lot of cool art, was like a pretty decent person. Was like maybe a prominent person in my community, however big or small that is. And I think I would like kids in a family at some point. So, good father, that'd be kind of cool. And I think that's like, that seems pretty reasonable. I'll come back to you when I'm like 30.
Are you waiting to like 80 to have kids to like
actually,
honor?
102. With technology, I'll be able to do that.
And with your genes,
Yeah.
you're going to be popping them out.
Literally, I'm going to be 105 having my first child with a robot. With a 37-year-old robot.
Beautiful couple.
37-year-old iPhone.
Everyone's going to be like, that's so messed up.
Yeah.
Oh my
Did you hear
God.
that he married the iPhone 15? Barely. That's amazing. Well, that's been our episode.
This was cool.
This was super fun. We really appreciate you coming. What would you like to promote?
Just follow me on Instagram. I'm like doing a bunch of shows. I'm like make a bunch of content. Yeah, I think it's just a good start. Follow me on Instagram. Join my email list. When I come to your city, you'll know, and we'll go from there.
And then we'll go from there. Like making weekend plans.
Literally, yeah. I'm like, everyone put your social security number into DM me your social security number.
I'm surprised nobody's requested Venmos. I think that's what I'm going to start doing. Just Venmo me, Lynn Molly, anytime.
I don't feel, if I put my Venmo, someone would hack my Venmo and take my $110 out of my Venmo, and then I would just be pissed
Tell them how
off.
rich you are.
Yeah,
You
literally.
gotta transfer that out to your bank account, Michael. Don't
I like
leave
to let it
in
like, sometimes it
there.
feels good. Like, yo, I got like $200 in my event. You know what I mean? It feels nice.
Yeah, it feels nice. It feels like play money.
Yeah,
it feels
it's
like
like,
monopoly
you know what?
money.
I don't need this.
You know they're investing that. They're making money off your money.
They're all, the banks doing that. They're
Yeah,
all doing it.
yeah, it's
all
true.
of them. You know what I
It's
mean?
true.
If you're going to move it in a stock portfolio or in some sort of crypto, but
He's in finance.
yeah, trust me, I know. I'm
Okay,
like
good.
fully aware.
Good.
I've been making moves. My mom's going to be fine. I'm taking care of her. Chrissy was like, don't leave me hanging, bro.
That's been our show. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, I've been Christy Bana.
I'm Lynn Molly.
And I'm Mikel Albagdadi.
Thanks so much. We are going to take a brief hiatus for the holidays, but please stay subscribed, stay tuned, and thanks so much for joining us for season 1 of Cleopatra. Yay! Bye!